When it comes to cartoons of the early 2000s, the Nickelodeon show Fairly OddParents was one of the most popular of the era. In this show, average kid Timmy Turner gets a pair of fairy godparents who grant his every wish. Now, of course, most 10-year-olds love superheroes, and in Timmy's world, none are more popular than the Crimson Chin. But who exactly is he? In his original origin, the Crimson Chin was born to a doomed planet, but his father, Jor-El, managed to save his son's life by putting him on a rocket ship to Earth. When the ship crash-landed in Arkansas, the baby Chin was alive, making him the sole survivor of his planet's explosion. However, this origin story was changed because of a mysterious lawsuit, so here's the revised origin that most people know and love. Chuck Indigo was a struggling talk show host who was bitten on the chin by a radioactive actor. Later that night, Chuck realized that this bite gave him a super chin, amazing powers, and a chintastic costume. With these newfound abilities, Chuck took up a new identity as Charles Hampton Indigo. By day, he was a reporter for a local newspaper, the Daily Blabbity, but by night, he fought crime as the Crimson Chin. Throughout the years, the Chin changed and evolved with the tastes and events of the real world, such as the 1930s pulp era, the 1940s where the Chin lost his powers and fought Nazis with his bare hands as a sergeant in World War II, and he also battled communists in the 50s. In the 60s, the Chin took up a vow of non-violence. However, there was a second Crimson Chin comic book produced in this era, but it was based on its overly campy live-action TV show adaptation. Then you have the 70s Disco Chin, followed by an overly muscular and weapon-toting Chin in the 80s, whose hometown of Cincinnati was dark and grim, reflecting Chuck's lonely and brooding soul. Things picked up a bit in the 90s with the Grunge Chin and the Silver Chin of the new millennium, bringing us to the modern era, which makes up the setting of the Fairly OddParents TV show. This new age version of the Crimson Chin is written by Elmer Marmelman, a 47-year-old man who lives in his mother's basement that presumably took over the book sometime during the 2000s. In this time frame, the Chin faces off against foes like the Bronze Kneecap, a former athlete turned supervillain whose career was ruined when the Chin accidentally tripped him in a celebrity sports tournament. There's also the Nega Chin, Chuck's evil twin from a parallel universe. And despite his plethora of villains, most of which are named after metal body parts, the Crimson Chin is able to save Cincinnati time and time again with a little help from his sidekick, Cleft, the Boy Chin Wonder. Alright, this is where some major confusion starts. So Cleft is actually just Timmy Turner, who wished himself into the Crimson Chin comic books, and at the end of his first appearance in the episode Chin Up, the Chin remarks that Cleft is now in his continuity.
You're part of my continuity now.
This can be further evidenced in episodes like Lights, Camera, Adam, where Adam West portrays the Chin in a live-action movie adaptation, where Cleft is presented as an actual established character. However, this leads to some more continuity problems. For example, in the episode The Big Superhero Wish, Timmy's bullies are turned into supervillains, but in this official Nickelodeon magazine comic, Timmy notes that they shouldn't be in his Crimson Chin comic book because they were created by magic wishes. I'm probably just looking too far into a fictional universe inside of a fictional universe, so let's wrap this up. The last time that we see the Crimson Chin in his own episode is Kindred Spirits, where Chuck almost marries a new hero named Goldenlocks, but she's turned into the evil hair raiser, but back into Goldenlocks when Cleft almost fell to his death. Unfortunately, that's the abrupt ending that we have to go with because the Chin has not appeared ever since. So, here's an abrupt ending for this video. April Fools! We'll be back to our normal content soon. If you want to see some more of my regular videos, then just click that annotation right there for a playlist of some of my best videos. Like, subscribe, all that other generic stuff, and follow me on Twitter, @TrailerDrake. See you guys next time.